Hey, hey.
Hello, hello everyone. Here we are with no,
Yes, we hear. Yeah, I
hello,
hear.
hello. You hear me? Okay, is everything okay there in backstage? Yeah, yes, great. So we are here with DeFindex in this first podcast series. We are featuring conversation with leading project on the blockchain ecosystem and also on Stellar. And this first chapter, we have a guest, Justin Rice, VP of Ecosystem from the Stellar Development Foundation. So, hello.
Hello.
And
Hey, Justin.
Hi.
well, one of the things that I find most interesting in blockchain, in Web3, and also in Stellar, obviously, is how decentralized we are. For example, right now, we are talking from three different places. Uh, so, Justin, please tell us where are you talking from, and yeah, how are you?
Sure. Great. Yeah, I'm good. I'll start there. I'm good. I'm very good. I'm in New York. I'm in upstate New York, so 100 miles north of New York City in the city I live in called Kingston, which is a beautiful city on the banks of the Hudson River at the feet of the Catskill Mountains. And
Wow.
today it's a beautiful sort of November day, the day before Thanksgiving. And I'm great. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be talking to you. And it's been a great day so far.
Amazing. Thank you,
Amazing.
Justin.
And we are talking also with Esteban. Where are you, Esteban?
Hey, so I am in Rio de Janeiro, a bit more south. Not as south as you, Francisco. Maybe you will let us know afterwards. But here it was also a very nice day. It has been a bit rainy yesterday night, but today was sunny. I am in an amazing working space and happy to be with you. Thank you, Justin, for the invitation. This is the first time we do this, so please help us doing this good and the people that are listening. Also, thanks for supporting our experiments. And what about you, Francisco?
Well, I'm calling from the south of Chile, so a very beautiful place as well. Uh, Rivers everywhere, mountains everywhere, forest everywhere. So it's an amazing place to be. I'm very happy to work in Web3 and be able to live in a place like this and also make connection with amazing people around the globe. And you mentioned just in Thanksgiving, and that's not common for us in Latin America. So please tell us a little bit what's Thanksgiving.
Please tell us everything.
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a weird holiday in the United States that celebrates a feast when there were some Europeans that came over in the 1600s, the Pilgrims. They lived in the United States. It was before it was the United States. It was, and they sort of survived their first winter in their first summer. And I think that there was a big feast that they had because they cooperated with like the local native population. And at the end of the harvest in their first year, they had this big feast that we celebrate every year as Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving has like a very specific menu of food, which is turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, pumpkin pie, cranberry sauce. All of these, I think, are theoretically things that were on the menu at the first Thanksgiving feast. Um,
The
and
first one.
it's a really good holiday, and you just eat a lot.
Okay. You eat what you had before in the first one, in the first feast.
I think so. Because like normally we don't. I mean, you don't eat a lot of whole roasted turkeys or a lot of like cranberry sauce. These are kind of like antiquated foods, and they really are like the staples of Thanksgiving. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty fun holiday. Like a lot of things happen. A lot of families come together. You spend a lot of time cooking, a lot of time eating. A lot of people play football or watch football games, and you just kind of like eat, pass out early, hang out with family, get in arguments. You know. It's famous for people getting in family arguments. You know, if your family comes together and there's any tension, Thanksgiving is the time when it all comes to a head.
It's the time where you talk with your family about crypto.
Right. This is the time when someone in your family is going to come right up to you, and they're gonna corner you and start asking you about Bitcoin. Yeah, that's right. You work at Bitcoin. That is exactly the
question. We all had this kind of question that yeah, it's very hard to explain our jobs well. So Justin, you work on Stellar Development Foundation. So please tell us what SDF or Stellar Development Foundation does, and you as VP of Ecosystem, what you do.
Sure. The Stellar Development Foundation basically has a mission to create equitable access to financial infrastructure. And we work to do that by supporting the growth and development of the Stellar network and the Stellar ecosystem. And so a lot of what we do is we help to sort of bring together the participants who are building on Stellar projects, developers, and help them find each other, help them actually use the code to build their projects. And then we also serve as like a speaking partner to regulators and legislators. And we also help to make sure that that we sort of convene around standards so that there's good interoperability within the ecosystem. For my team, the ecosystem team, we are very focused on organic growth of the Stellar ecosystem. So we try to find ways to help onboard, educate, up-level developers and projects. And our goal is to make it so that there's open access for anyone that is interested to have the resources they need to build meaningful solutions to problems using the Stellar stack.
Amazing.
Seems like
so
an amazing job.
It is, and I get to talk to people like you all the time, which is the best part of it, you know.
Great. So you mentioned that we need interoperability for all this collaboration between the projects within the Stellar ecosystem and also with other chains. What interoperability means for you?
Yeah, good question. For me, interoperability, right? When there are different participants or who are building products and services that don't necessarily know each other, but that where those products and services can stack together to allow them to build meaningful solutions to real world problems, that's interoperability. And interoperability is a function a lot of the times of an open system, one where people can participate without necessarily knowing all the other participants, but where they can build to standards that allow their projects to be able to stack together to create these solutions. For me, open systems like that, where there's the ability to sort of build and solve a problem what you're focused on, and to sort of pull from the work that other people are doing, they have this advantage where the efforts of everyone can compound. You can actually start to see that the more people that sort of work on a network, or that work to create different components that can interoperate together, the more that those you sort of like accrue the benefits, and you start to basically get all of these great things that happen where you're working on a project and you don't have to build every part of it. Other people are building and you don't necessarily know, they're solving things in ways that you couldn't even conceive of, and you sort of get to get the benefits of all of the work that everyone is doing. And so the great thing about interoperability the first great thing about interoperability, I'd say, is that it allows like you to sort of work on what you're interested in and connect it to the work that other people are doing in order to actually compound the efforts of everyone. And that makes it so that we can solve bigger problems faster. And it makes it so that we can solve them in ways that we don't even necessarily conceive of on our own.
And I guess like open source is a very important part of this. Like when you build something that other people can build on top of, open source might be like very key on this.
Yeah.
How do you, and as a VP of ecosystem, what do you do in order to achieve this place where everybody knows what the other people are doing? Because I guess sometimes like I want to build something and someone have already built that, and maybe like, I don't know, you help this conversation, you say, hey, maybe you should talk with these people.
We do try to help conversations happen exactly like that. Sure. Like on the one hand, it is difficult when there are a bunch of participants that don't necessarily know each other and that aren't getting permission to build, for everyone to have full visibility into what everyone else is working on. But that's just a challenge, and one that we try to address by doing exactly what you're saying, convening the ecosystem of participants, trying to create conversations so that people are aware of what they're working on, trying to encourage collaboration where it makes sense. And sometimes it's good to have competition. So sometimes you actually want multiple people building competing solutions that are similar. But for me, we see the greatest benefits when the work that people are doing is something that is visible, shared, brought up in conversation, and done open source, so that you can actually see what people are working on, and you can repurpose code that others have written, and they can do the same for you, because you end up actually just like everyone evolving from the work that other people are doing. But as you point out, it's a challenge, but not an intractable one. So I think our goal, in trying to convene people, we do try to have conversations. We try to do that virtually on Discord. We try to do that virtually by connecting people, in any way that we can. And we also try to do it by having actual events where people come together. In general, a lot of what the role of the foundation is to facilitate conversation, so that people start to become aware of what everyone else is working on.
Amazing. And I personally see these solutions, or what everyone is building, for example, as smart contracts, are these building blocks, like Lego blocks, that everyone can use to build their own castle. And also Stellar provide this infrastructure, very secure, very fast, so we can build on top of that. And also we have these bridges that we can pull from cryptocurrencies from other chains, and make solutions, like bigger solutions that meet the needs of the people in everywhere. So
yeah, I think the way that you said it, Lego blocks, that's a pretty great way to think about it, because if you if you work on creating enough blocks, and then you can stack them together in different ways, you can actually, with the same block, like sort of build something totally different. And when you can repurpose portions of a solution to create others, all of a sudden you have kind of an infinite set of possibilities for what you can build. And you also start to have the benefit of, like, I don't know, you could just get so much more done more quickly,
Yeah, this network effect of builders. When there are more people building different stuff, we all benefit of what all are doing. So it's growing exponentially. And so on Stellar, on the perspective of Stellar has made a strong push for interoperability. We see in all the new announcements that are being announced. So what's the most interesting thing that's happening in the ecosystem today that maybe the public right now doesn't know?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think that what we're going to find is that a lot of the assets that exist on Stellar will begin to be usable by a lot of the DeFi protocols that are built on Stellar. And we're going to see a lot more assets and a lot more on and off ramps in the next year. And as a result, I think a lot of the really cool stuff that's happened recently, right? So let me, stepping back, like over the past couple of years, once smart contracts went live on Stellar, there's been a lot of DeFi protocols that have emerged. And these DeFi protocols do really cool things with assets. There's great lending and borrowing, and there's great AMMs to allow for swaps. And there's great aggregators that sort of pool liquidity. And I think all of that is working very well. And what's going to happen next, I think, is there will be more assets that are available to be deployed in those protocols. And when that starts to happen, there will be better connections to more of the world. And so I think a lot of the sort of engine that has been built in DeFi will suddenly get a lot more fuel and be able to touch a lot more of the world. And so when that happens, I think we'll be seeing greater interoperability, not just on the DeFi protocols that interoperate, but more interoperability across the stack, where there are sort of more applications and wallets with more on and off ramps, with more local assets that are connecting to these DeFi protocols to actually create this like sort of ability for end-to-end use cases that give access to great financial instruments to people anywhere in the world. Now, this is kind of the promise that Stellar has always held out, right? Like Stellar was designed in a way to allow for this very thing to happen, but I think we're starting to see a quicker more and more real world assets and stable coins and on and off ramps are going to kick up pretty over the course of the next year that will really make that sort of promise into something that is realized.
And also there will be more support with like cross-chain solutions, right? Like I saw the podcast with Denel and Layer 0 CEO, and I guess this is only one of many other solutions and partnerships that you are working with.
Yeah, that's correct. I think there's also going to be a great amount of like cross-chain interoperability that is going to be unlocked. And so I think, as bridges and launch, as new assets launch, as new on and off ramps launch, the utility of Stellar will be even greater than it is today. And a lot of the engineering that's gone into the basically the protocols that allow you to do things with value on the network will connect with the value that exists on other networks and even outside of blockchain. And suddenly there'll just be a lot more value flowing onto the network, which will be really awesome. The interesting thing about all of this is like, we're sort of talking, I'm saying like, okay, you point out there's these plans for these sort of cross-chain interoperability protocols to launch. And I'm saying there's going to be more assets and more on and off ramps. But part of what's really cool about the entire system is there's also a lot that we just don't know, right? Like anyone can start building on Stellar and can launch solutions that are not sanctioned or even known about by the foundation or by you. And so I'm also interested because I feel like we're sort of starting to see this increase in attention, an increase in the number of builders, an increase in the number of projects, an increase in on-chain value. And if we start to see more and more connections to the real world, the thing that is super interesting to me is like, what's going to emerge? What unexpected projects are going to emerge? Where like a lot of the value that you get from an interoperable system has to do with like the sort of builders or people with ideas that you don't necessarily see coming. And when they bring an unexpected idea into the system, it can be really transformative. So, there's sort of what we can see, which is exactly what you said, cross-chain interoperability, and also what I said, which is like more connections to the real world, more value on the network. And then there's this like big potential, right, for surprise that I just have a feeling that given the amount of the increased activity in the ecosystem, we're going to start to see more ideas that we don't necessarily expect. And that's one of the great things about like an open system that allows for interoperability, is that it leaves room for those kinds of things to come in and have an impact.
Yeah, we were last week at DevConnect, and there was this big hackathon on Stellar House that, we were during 1 week with how many, like 150 builders from all over Latin America, and it was amazing to see, like, first of all, a lot of people, and then of course new people, young people, very talented, but also new ideas, as you said, like we didn't expect. So yeah, it's very, very good point. Very good point. Like, new people means new ideas that maybe you haven't think about it.
Totally. I don't know if you were there for this, but at DevConnect, as one of some of the workshops that were offered for the hackathon and for the builder residency were around the next protocol that's coming out, which is X-Ray Protocol 25, which has more like sort of zero knowledge primitives that people can actually start to do things with proving on Stellar. And there's this big question, like, if you can do a bunch of computation off chain and prove it on chain, what possibilities does that open up? And I think there are definitely places where people have thought through, okay, well, you can build a layer 2, you can do things with privacy, you can do things with, off-chain dexes. But I think there's actually a whole world of like possibility. This is just one example, but a whole world of possibility that opens up when you say, okay, what if I do a lot of complex computation off chain and just settle it on chain and prove it? What does that mean I can do today that I couldn't do yesterday? And I don't know all the answers, right? And that's like a space that just is about to open up. And it does. I think there'll be a lot of new ideas flooding into the ecosystem. So, example of something just started to roll out at DevConnect, and that I think will be pretty impactful in terms of what happens next.
Yeah, so we don't know about all the new things that zero knowledge will bring to Stellar. We have zero knowledge about what zero knowledge will bring. So, I'm just amazed about the zero knowledge technology. I think it's something that every time I explain that here in Chile to someone, because here almost nobody heard about zero knowledge exist. So that it's just a concept that it blows your mind, and I'm very happy that Stellar is supporting this. I think any blockchain that don't support zero knowledge will be behind. So this is very important. It opens more interoperability because, as you said, a lot of things can happen off chain, and then we just need to prove it that is correct. So
on other
this
It
could
can also happen in other.
be activity on other chain, and we can use Star to secure it, and it's just amazing, all the new opportunities. And talking about new opportunities and hackathons, we have been mentors and judges at the recent DevConnect Stellar Hackathon. We have seen amazing ideas, and a lot of projects have actually built something working on the hackathon. We were very impressed about it. So why these events are very important for the ecosystem and for interoperability?
I mean, I think you sort of just explained it, right? Which is, it feels like there are two parts to what you said, right? The first is that these projects came together and they got Euro mentorship, right? And they found each other, and they had an environment where they were encouraged to build, and they were back to Esteban's question from earlier, they were sharing ideas. So there was like visibility into what people were working on, and support to build, and mentorship to build, and maybe most importantly, a sense of community, right? They belong somewhere. They're with people who are interested in the same things, working to solve the same problems. And that's like one big part of it, right? It brings people together, gives them visibility, gives them structure, gives them community. And then I think the other part of it is that for teams like yours that are more advanced, you actually get to go meet the sort of new people. You get to see new ideas. You get to be exposed to up and coming talent, and you get to also show off what you've built and share your skills and sort of have your reputation and domain expertise like highlighted in a way that I think is really nice. So it sort of brings together these two sides: people that are new and joining the community get to meet people who are established, and in that way, it's like this mutually beneficial growth. And a lot of it's just the personal relationships, but some of it's also the insights, the ideas, the collaborative approach to technological development that all works out really, really well. And the great thing about doing it in person, like I feel like in this, like today, so much development can be done alone, and so much of it can be done with AI, and you can move very fast and think thoughts and stand them up and test them out, and that's great. It's also helpful to have a human connection to a community that you're building with and for. And I think when we put those two things together, it's super powerful, right? You can build fast, you can iterate on ideas, you can meet like-minded people, and you can sort of bounce them off of each other. And again, I think it starts to accrue in this big network effect of developers, as you said. So anyway, those events are really important because that human connection is important, and because it gives new and established people the opportunity to connect and sort of forge a, in the cosmic brain, like new neural pathways.
I love the event, and even if it was really difficult to be, there were so many things happening during the Connect, but the possibility of having one big place for all the Stellar community, where you will have, well, you will meet people, and you can also have like a breakfast and lunch and mentorship, was really great. I wanted to say something about what you said before, that people might bring things unexpected things. So there was a team building a solution for anchors. So the solution was to solve the privacy in KYC, right? Which is okay. So which is already something great. Why do you need to share your entity to every different anchor? Why won't you do it only once, in a way that the anchor or the on and off ramp don't know all your data? But at the same time, like the regulation needs you, so the anchor needs all your data, right? So we're in a moment where like privacy is needed in order for the regulation to adopt blockchain. But now, like, privacy will create solutions that the regulation will be will be behind, right? So I don't know, I don't know how to explain this idea, but it's very exciting. Like, blockchain was very, very far in front of regulation, and now it stayed behind because of privacy. And now that all the privacy solutions are ready, like, now our regulation is behind again.
Right. It's interesting. What was this team like? Where did they come from?
Sorry?
The team that was building this solution, who were they?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the team of the project, but it's a team of women. They came from Spectra. Yes, thank you very much. They came from different places, from Brazil, from Argentina, from, maybe they're going to kill me. if I don't remember all the places.
No, but I mean that's good.
Group of 4 women from at least Argentina. Well, Venezuela. Well, she's from Venezuela, but she lives in Brazil.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Like, it's pretty amazing that because that's the other thing that I like about. Well, it's sort of where we started out the conversation. One great thing about Web3 and about open systems and about interoperation is that you can collaborate with people all over the world, and there's an opportunity to build something meaningful, even if you live in different places. And like, for me, one of the coolest things about the Stellar ecosystem is that we do have builders all over the world. Like, it's not, you know, I worked in Web2 companies and everybody lived in San Francisco, and you know, it kind of sucked. Like, it was boring. And one of the great things about the way that Web3 works is that you start to find that you're connecting with people all over the world, because that's where not only where the problems to solve are everywhere, they're not just in one place, but also the opportunity to build is available everywhere. And when people start to take advantage of it, you can really collaborate together. And I don't know, there's something very special about that. So the fact that this project was like women from 4 different countries that came together and managed to build something that is like cool and kind of ahead of its time and surprising is exactly the thing that like that just kind of makes it all worthwhile, you know?
Yeah. I see that we have a lot of comments. I was not checking the the comments tab. Sorry, audience. Should I go for the questions? Oh, okay. Hello, Fanfield. Okay, great. Thank you, Fanfield, for your comments. We have Cayo.
I wanted to say something about this hackathon, because it was like the 3 days of workshops, and after these 3 days, there were 3 days of building. And the first day, like, no one understands stuff, or I mean, not no one, but a lot of teams have had this trouble understanding what they were building. The second day, they understood what they were building, and the third day, most of them had something. So these 3 days of like, it was very, I mean, like, very efficient, very, because I've seen in other shorter hackathons that only the teams that knew a little bit could build something. But here, with 3 days, like, most of the team understood what they were building, and they built amazing things. So 5 days, I think, we launched to production. Like, it could be great also, 5 days. So who is going to build the first L2 on Stellar?
Palta Labs.
Does it make sense? Because Stellar is very cheap right now. So I'm not sure if that makes sense.
Tupi is going to build it.
Tupi, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you could build an L2 for some other reason than just for cost,
Moonlight
right?
will be an L2.
Yeah, that's right.
Or
Moonlight
it might
will be the first.
Yeah, it depends. It might be an L2 depending how you look at it.
Well,
so sorry, Justin, you were saying something.
No, I was just saying that, like, there's a lot of different ways to think about an L2, and it could not be for just cost. But it's what you said. If Moonlight or something like that is built and it's an L2 for some sort of privacy reason, or someone builds one for scalability reasons, or someone builds one that just has like a very specific use case, I feel like that's when it makes sense. And I don't know who's going to build it first, but I think it's going to happen. You know, I think in an ideal world, the core protocol of Stellar continues to evolve, and the network scales so that it can handle the majority of use cases. But I'm sure that there will be certain ones where it does make sense for people to build some sort of L2. And when they do, it's one of those things where I'm like, it will be for some reason that is very necessary to whatever they are trying to achieve. And I don't know what it will be yet. I'm interested.
It might be anything like privacy, or even like AI computing, or proving that your AI assistant is being trustful with you.
Yeah, or storage, as
Or
Tupui
storage.
says.
Yeah. Well, looking ahead
Amazing.
towards
It's
2026, shall we? How? Yeah, because we have a lot of this new protocol coming, right? That will be on January. And then how do you think like the user experience will look like interacting with these DeFi ecosystems? But instead of 2026, let's think about like in the next 2 years. Justin, what do you think? What should be automatic for them? What should be invisible for them?
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what you think, but what I'll say is that, like, one interesting observation looking at the way that the Stellar ecosystem has evolved over the past year is that some of the most actually useful products that have come out are like use case applications, use case wallets that give users access to DeFi protocols to essentially, put funds into like a lending protocol to earn interest, right? And in these cases, a lot of the times it's the combination of, a good on and off ramp that's like low cost into a wallet that's simple and easy to use, that has a basically seamless connection to deposit into a DeFi protocol. And when you offer that in places that don't have very good access to sort of yield-bearing financial instruments, it's really transformative. And so, like, the first thing that occurs to me is, like, I think we'll see more and more of these kind of use case wallets that are interacting with DeFi protocols, and the user experience will be one where it's, obviously where the users have enough understanding of what they're doing, where they understand any potential risks, but it's like very easy for them. It's very seamless. It's a flawless user experience. It's one that doesn't interrupt or have a lot of friction. And I think that, the beauty of interoperation is that a lot of the complexity that exists in a DeFi protocol, even the complexity that exists moving money on and off the network, can sort of be abstracted away by a good UI that a wallet builder builds. So I think my answer is, like, I think what we'll be seeing is just like more and more of these applications that serve specific markets, that give people access to financial instruments that exist in DeFi protocols and on-chain assets, but that feel very streamlined and easy to use. But I think that's, and I say that because when you look at wallets like, you look at a wallet like Meru that offers this to their users, I think they find they've had strong growth, that offering these kinds of services makes their wallet stickier, there's better user retention, and it increases, like, it improves the end users' lives. And so, like, they're sort of building a product that's successful and that's growing and that has a good impact on the world. That's awesome. And so, like, that's what I kind of imagine, the Merus of the world continuing to deploy and take off, and taking advantage of this whole stack of available assets and protocols to give end users a really good and seamless experience. However, that's one interface. I don't know. What do you like? I'm curious. I feel like I'm curious to hear what you think. What do you think things are going to look like in, say, 2027?
I also think like you, like, we will be using crypto every day without knowing, just because it's more convenient. I see more and more abstraction on all the complexities crypto has. I see also more use cases and people having trusting more in these apps. I also see that some countries will, like some central banks, will fail, will make a mistake in those countries. So those countries that maybe were trusting their central bank, they will start to move to crypto also. So I see that, and also with all the ZK, I think most of the use will be starting to become more private and trustful. And I hope also that all the news and everything that we do, we can track. We could be able to track where this come from, like all the traceability. I think this will be very, very important, and I hope everyone will be able to choose, for example, in a supermarket, if I buy this wine maybe is, that is produced in a certain way, and then when you buy it, you will be using crypto, and you will know, and you may have multiple wallets for different reasons. One's more convenient for savings, or for paying stuff. Maybe the app that you use for calling a driver will be also a digital wallet, or maybe any app will be a digital non-custodial digital wallet. Like every every app will be one of those. Yeah, that's how I see the future.
I had the opportunity to see Vitalik during founding the Commons conference in the Connect, and at the very end, so it was a talk with Roger, founder of Tor, of the Onion Network, and the Tor browser and the Tor project, and they were talking about like, why are you still here? Like, because you could, I don't know, just retire, right? And so, well, Vitalik started saying that, well, first he really needs human connection and talking with the communities and builders. But then the first thing he mentioned was about, yeah, and I am excited about all the projects that are built on Ethereum, especially like payments and savings accounts. It's like, yeah, like people really, like, we can think about so many complex stuff, right? So with blockchain, we can do like, and I, a lot of things, and I cannot even imagine what other complex things Vitalik can think about. But he's here because of the very simple financial access that people can have using the technology. So when I think about 2026 or in 2 years more, I think that the most important thing that we will see are very good financial access, and I really hope that products like DeFindex and the wallets that we will partner with will be very successful. I would like to see that everybody in the world, like people in the world, can choose. They can have the options to choose in which currency they want to save. It can be centralized central bank emitted currency, or maybe not, or maybe from another territory. So yeah, I can also think about crazy AI things that might probably happen, but what I'm most excited about is this democratization of finance, which is something very simple but very very powerful.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Great.
agree.
Well, we have been talking for 40 minutes now, and we have been talking about how decentralized is this world, this ecosystem, people from everywhere. We talk about Thanksgiving. we, we talk about how interoperability makes this network effect, and it makes create solutions exponentially. We talk about the new releases of Stellar with X-Ray integrating ZK. We talk about how we see the future. So this has been an amazing conversation, Justin. Thank you for coming to this podcast. And yeah, I invite all the people that are hearing that you are amazing to hear from us. And I mean, I have met some of these people, and they are amazing. They are also from places that I never I've never believed that I could meet someone from there. So thank you a lot for always supporting us. And yes, and so well, follow us, follow DeFindex on Twitter, on X now. And if you want to experience what we are building, you can go to SourceSwap Earn and invest there, or use one of our partner wallets, BeanSap or Zcash, so you can just download and use them. So thank you a lot. And Justin, if you want to say something to end, or Esteban also.
I just want to say thanks for having me. Thanks for building everything that you build. Thanks for being as just awesome at communicating and working with people and making it fun to build meaningful solutions, to be part of a community. Just thank you. And thanks to everyone who's here, obviously, because we are very excited to just be having conversations like this. And to be having people listen and participate. And I really appreciate all the questions, but mostly that's it. I just want to say I'm really excited for where we are as an ecosystem. I'm really excited for what's next with Stellar in general. And I'm really excited for, what you've been building, and see what happens next. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you for the support and helping us building new things and experimenting things like this podcast.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.